Okay, so get this, losing weight the wrong way could actually shorten your lifespan.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it all comes down to muscle. Like when you
Right.
look at muscle mass and how that ties into living longer, it gets really interesting.
Especially as we age.
Exactly. And, we had some excerpts that you shared about building muscle over 50 from Dr. Eric Berg.
Right, Dr. Berg.
Yeah, he's really well known in the keto and fasting space.
Yep.
So let's see what he has to say about, how to stay strong for the long haul.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I think what's interesting here is we often think about weight loss as this general thing.
Yeah, just like a number on the scale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's more about the composition of what you're losing that really matters.
Right.
Losing fat is one thing.
Yeah.
But losing muscle, that's a totally different story.
Totally.
And that's a key distinction for long-term health and longevity.
And Dr. Berg is very clear about that.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around.
No, he doesn't. He says straight up, out of all the things you can do for longevity, maintaining muscle mass is at the top of the list.
Wow.
Like, he really emphasizes that muscle isn't just about how you look.
Right. It's not just aesthetics.
It's not. I mean, it plays a crucial role in our overall health.
Absolutely. And muscle is metabolically active tissue.
Yeah.
And as we age, we naturally start to lose muscle mass.
We do.
This process called sarcopenia can actually begin as early as our 30s.
Really? I didn't know it started that early.
Yeah, and it has some significant consequences.
Like what?
Well, it's linked to a higher risk of diabetes,
Oh, wow.
a weakened immune system, and even an increased risk of mortality.
So it's really important.
It really is.
And that's where the dangers of certain weight loss methods can come in.
Right, some of these trendy methods.
Yeah, Dr. Berg specifically warns against medications like Ozempic.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's gotten really popular for weight loss.
Yeah.
But studies have shown that they can also lead to significant muscle loss.
Really? So even though you're losing weight, you're losing the wrong kind of weight.
Exactly. And one study even compared the muscle loss from these drugs to like a decade of aging.
Wow, that's a powerful comparison.
It is.
That really highlights why focusing on losing fat, not just overall weight, is crucial.
Yeah, it's about body composition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we go about preserving this precious muscle mass as we get older?
That's the big question, right?
It is, and Dr. Berg outlines some key strategies.
Okay, like what?
Things like exercise,
Makes sense.
nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
sleep,
Oh, interesting.
and even specific supplements.
Let's start with exercise.
Sure.
It's probably not a surprise that Dr. Berg emphasizes consistent exercise.
Yeah, you gotta move.
You do. And especially resistance training.
Right, strength training is key.
He's very clear that inactivity is one of the worst things for muscle health.
And unfortunately, a lot of people become less active as they get older.
It's true, which just speeds up muscle loss even more.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is. But, there are ways to break that cycle.
Absolutely. Finding enjoyable ways to incorporate movement into your routine is key.
Whether that's strength training, walking, even just stretching.
It's about keeping those muscles engaged and working.
Now let's talk about nutrition, because Dr. Berg is a huge advocate for adequate protein intake.
He's a big believer in protein.
He really is, and he specifically calls out high-quality protein sources,
Like what?
particularly grass-fed red meat.
Interesting, because we often hear that we should limit red meat.
Right, but he challenges that conventional advice.
He does.
He argues that red meat, especially the grass-fed variety, have a different nutrient profile.
Okay.
And he believes it's actually crucial for muscle health as we age.
So it's not all red meat is created equal.
Exactly. And he even acknowledges that digesting red meat can get harder as we get older.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he suggests taking betaine hydrochloride before meals.
What does that do?
It helps improve stomach acid and protein absorption.
Ah, so you can actually utilize the protein better.
Exactly. And he also emphasizes spreading protein intake throughout the day.
Not just all at once.
Right. And, it's interesting. He's not a big fan of vegan diets for aging individuals.
Really? Why is that?
He's concerned about the difficulty of getting enough protein.
Especially when you're trying to maintain muscle mass.
Exactly. And he's also a big fan of collagen.
Oh yeah, collagen is important for our joints, right?
It is. But did you know that collagen actually makes up a whopping 30% of our muscle mass?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he believes that supplementing with collagen can be really beneficial as we age.
So it's not just for wrinkles.
Nope. It's for muscle health too.
Interesting.
And here's something I found really surprising. Dr. Berg is a huge advocate for sleep when it comes to muscle health.
Sleep, really?
Yeah, he even says poor sleep will drain muscle mass more than a poor diet.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is. He really emphasizes that muscle recovery and all the benefits from exercise happen mainly during sleep.
So it's like our bodies are doing the heavy lifting while we rest.
Exactly, and that's why he says quality sleep is essential for maximizing those benefits.
Makes sense. So it's not just about what you do in the gym or what you eat.
It's about what you do when you're not in the gym and when
Yeah.
you're not eating too.
It's all connected.
It really is. And speaking of connections, Dr. Berg actually recommends a whole list of supplements to support muscle health.
Like what?
Things like magnesium glycinate,
Okay.
vitamin D, zinc trace minerals, B vitamins, coenzyme Q10.
Wow, that's quite the lineup.
It is. And of course, he gets his iron from red meat.
Naturally.
But he's very clear that these supplements are meant to complement, not replace a healthy diet and exercise routine.
So they're like the supporting cast.
Exactly. And here's a concept I found really fascinating. Dr. Berg talks about the muscle reserve.
The muscle reserve.
It's like having a savings account for amino acids.
Interesting.
Just like our fat stores energy, our muscles store a reserve of amino acids
Okay.
that our bodies can tap into when needed.
Like when?
During times of stress,
What kind of
like fasting, healing from an injury, fighting off an illness, even just maintaining stable blood sugar levels.
So it's like a backup system.
Exactly like a backup generator for our health, ready to kick in when we need it most.
That's a great analogy.
And you know what else is fascinating?
What's that?
The connection between muscle health and cognitive function.
Really, I would have never guessed those were connected.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Our brains rely on neurotransmitters for optimal function.
Right.
And guess what those neurotransmitters are made from?
Let me guess, protein.
You got it.
Wow. So building muscle can actually help keep our brains sharp.
Exactly. It's like a 2-for-1 deal.
I like it.
And then there's the lymphatic system.
Which is responsible for...
Detoxification.
Right, removing waste from the body.
And guess what? Plays a crucial role in keeping that system running smoothly.
I'm sensing a theme here. Is it muscle activity?
You got it again?
Wow, those muscles are doing a lot more than we give them credit for.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's amazing how interconnected our bodies are.
And how much our muscles contribute to our overall health and well-being.
It really highlights the importance of taking a holistic approach.
Right, recognizing that everything from our diet to our sleep to our exercise routine plays a role.
Now, Dr. Berg also touches on a condition called cachexia.
Cachexia.
What is that? It's muscle loss due to chronic illness.
Oh,
And this is where things get a bit more serious.
okay.
Cachexia can occur with conditions like cancer, where the body basically starts breaking down muscle for fuel.
So like as a last resort?
Exactly. It's a survival mechanism.
Right.
But it really highlights the critical importance of building and maintaining muscle mass
Proactively.
proactively for long-term health and resilience.
Especially as we face potential health challenges down the road.
And remember at the beginning I mentioned how losing weight the wrong way could shorten your lifespan?
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Berg actually experienced this firsthand.
Really?
Earlier in his career, he focused so much on losing weight that he ended up losing a lot of muscle mass.
So he was just focused on the number on the scale.
Yeah, and he realized that this approach totally backfired.
How so?
He felt weaker, his metabolism slowed down, and his overall health suffered.
Wow. So it was like a temporary fix with long-term consequences?
Exactly, and this experience was a turning point for him.
In what way?
He realized that true health wasn't just about being thin. It was about being strong, resilient, and having a healthy body composition.
So it's not just about the number on the scale.
It's not. It's about what makes up that number.
Right. It's about the quality of the weight.
Exactly. And this experience led him to explore all these different approaches to health and wellness,
Interesting.
which ultimately led him to his current emphasis on nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle factors that support muscle growth and vitality.
So stay curious, keep learning, and most importantly, take charge of your health journey.
That's great advice. And hey, maybe try a cold shower or two along the way.
You never know what you might discover.
Tuning into